So in this next section, we're talking about unforgiveness. I'm basically trying to relay the messages that we receive on a daily basis through TV and radio, and just talking with our friends about what's appropriate and what's not. And we might be raised differently. We might have a different moral compass than some people. But when it comes down to different things that we have implanted in us that are in the realm of unforgiveness, a lot of times we're talking about trying to forgive other people. There's a great deal of things that need to go along with how you go about forgiving somebody. If you want to do it with a personal conversation and tell them, hey, you really hurt me, this and that, one of the most important things that you have to be ready for is be ready to tell that person who you're talking to, for them not to think it's a big deal and just be like, yeah, all right, I'm sorry, like I didn't mean to do that. Because it will totally take the wind out of your sails, and the thing that you've been kind of harboring all these years or trying to work at. I'm not saying that people should go out and, find their violators, their attackers, their this and that, and go and seek out forgiveness. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, obviously that's a thing that would be treated with kid gloves, and that would be something that you would probably need to discuss with your therapist or something, and to be prepared if that was something that you wanted to do. So just putting that off to the side for a minute, I'm talking about personal forgiveness. And a lot of times when we are trying to function in a daily life, we're trying to do this good stuff. We have all these messages coming to us that bombard us and make us a little weaker and a little programmed to believe we can't do it unless we're like this and like this. Like, why can't I do the things that other people do? How come I'm not as smart as them? How come I don't have a job as good as them? I try and I work harder than anyone. And we start to go through this list of different things that disqualify us from thinking that we'll be any good at that thing. And whatever it is that we desire to do, we set goals. I have many, many goals in my life that I had made lists of and all kinds of stuff, and I haven't met them yet. And I'm 40 years old. Well, what am I waiting for? Well, it's just the fact that, the reality of it, sometimes things don't work out. And they're not connected to anything as far as unforgiveness or abuse or anything. It's just because it's not going to work out. And we always get told when we're growing up that and nothing's impossible. We can do everything. We can make anything happen. That's not necessarily true. And we know that because we understand that there are not the same opportunities for everyone out there. And so forgiveness is a real delicate subject when we're walking through this, and we have to do it in the realm of understanding that not everything is going to be pieced together perfectly. The life that I put together in my head, the vision that I had for the way that this would turn out, is not always going to turn out the way that I want. And I have to learn to accept that. I have to learn to be okay with the changes that come as a result of me putting my stuff out there in the universe. So even though I have a thought process of how I want it to work, most of the time it doesn't work that way. So if you're talking about forgiveness or going to confront somebody about something, you need to be ready for them to tell you to go stick it, and once you're able to digest that, the possibility of it happening may not be as great. It might not seem as intense as it once was. It might not even be necessary, because not all forgiveness happens by sitting down and having a conversation and saying, look, you wronged me, blah, 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 and getting that emotional support from somebody else, saying, hey, yeah, I'm really sorry. There's some people that don't realize it, and there's some people that absolutely know it, and then there's other people that are just downright disgusting, and you don't want to confront them, or they're not in your life, or that's the furthest thing from your mind, and that's a personal decision that you would make between you and a mentor or a counselor. So, harping on forgiveness and just trying to stay focused on that particular topic, these are things we need to work out. We need to work through those different situations. And sometimes it just is merely you speaking to yourself and talking that thing out, reliving that, rehashing that, no matter how painful it might be. You need to emotionally prepare for that journey. And there are things that you can do in order to prepare for that, or to walk through that. And there's lots of different book materials that I can recommend some things. There was a book that was given to me, that we had used for some of our students, and I wish that I could remember the name of it right now. But it's from what everybody that I've ever given it to, as far as an assignment was concerned, told me it completely ripped them to pieces, but rebuilt them in such a better manner. And there's a workbook that goes with it. And as soon as I remember it, I will absolutely put it in one of the links and try to get you some of that. And we'll talk about some more things in the next session.